Welcome to Stitching with Cindy Bots. We are back to our little mini series of quilt blocks here to make a lap quilt. This border is cut at 4.5 to give us a 4-inch border once the seams are taken into account. This corner is a 4.5-inch square piece of white that you sew on the diagonal trim, and it gives you that circular effect. As I said in the last video, I should have measured my square so that I had my border the right length. Unfortunately, my border, I eased it in and it is not laying flat for that reason, so I'm going to take that border off and not ease it in and get a nice even side. You can see the crinkles here on the side. Again, I think it's nice to show that everyone makes mistakes. It's a learning process. It's a reminder to take your time, iron your pieces, press them, and measure twice. All right, so here we go. This inner border is cut at 1 inch so that when you get the two side seams, it is 1.5 inches, and that sets off this center block. Now, I was going for originally a 16-inch block, so this would 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch would give me 15 in the middle. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So on this one, you're going to be dealing with a little larger corner blocks. All right. So this 1, 2, 3, 4 corner blocks, you can go ahead and cut those at the 5.5 inches of the background fabric. Let me just go over here to the directions and get a good screenshot of that. All right. Then to make the inside, let's start with the inside. This is, let me just double check. This is, all right, where'd it go? All right, let's start with, oh, I'm sorry, got it. This is a 5.5-inch square. All right, it just took me a second to look at my notes here and to decipher what I got. Okay, so this is a 5.5-inch square. Then I took the red 3.5-inch square and laid it on a corner, drew the diagonal, sewed on the diagonal, trimmed it, and this was all red. All right, and I did that to all 4 corners. Then I went ahead and with the black had a 2.5-inch square, laid it on, sewed on the diagonal, trimmed it, and folded it back. So you'll need, the gray is a 5.5-inch square. You'll need 4 of the red at 3.5-inch squares and 4 of the black at 2.5-inch squares to come up with this block. Okay. Then these strips I cut at 1.5 by 5. I needed 4 of this color, 4 of this color to make the bottom. All right, then this is a flying geese, and these are 2.5. Just let me double check. That should be 3.5. That's a good thing I checked. So this is 3.5 by 5.5 to get this piece. This is 3.5 by 5.5. Always good to check the notes. Then I took these 2 3.5-inch squares, laid them on the side, drew the diagonal, sewed on the diagonal, trimmed it, laid the black one on, sewed on the diagonal, and trimmed it to get the flying geese. All right, so that is how you come up with that. All right, so this is the same as a half square triangle, except you're using a rectangle piece. All right, and you're just laying it on the rectangle and sewing the diagonal, trimming it, and folding it back. Okay, so that is how you make this 3rd block in the series. And again, I think it's coming out cute. I think they'll all look good once we put them together. I just have some time spent with Jack the Ripper here to straighten this out, and we'll be good. Please like and subscribe. Again, I do have one more block to show you in the series. Thank you.